Good afternoon, everybody. Hi, Ash. How's it going today, babe? Hi, Jenny. Hello. Welcome to our weekly broadcast, Wednesday, November 23rd. Pumped to have you guys on live, streaming from the Facebook Oils group as well. Hello, gang. BOGOing it up. That is right. While we're all getting cozy in the room to hang out for a little while today with each other, how many of you know about BOGO Day? BOGO Week. How many of you are loving this? For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, doTERRA this week is running daily BOGOs. Meaning, today, you buy tea tree oil or melaleuca, you get marjoram for free. Amazing. Are we sold out in Canada already? Oi. Seriously, Jenny? Is that legit? Oh man, you guys, this sold out already today in the Canadian warehouse. Okay, so Monday's BOGO sold out at 7 p.m. Yesterday's BOGO sold out at 3 p.m. and it looks like today's BOGO is sold out by noon, which means tomorrow morning you might want to hop on and get the Canadian BOGO by about 9 a.m. Yikes. So Canadians, you do know you're one of the few markets in the world that are able to order from two warehouses, right? So hop over to the US warehouse. I'm hoping, and I understand it's still available through the US warehouse. This has been a hot week. What we have learned through something like this is that there's a good like 5% of the population that's been waiting to get started with oils, and saving a little money has spoken their language. Because doTERRA, people do not get started with using doTERRA oils because they're looking to save money. Some people do. In the US, where the healthcare model is a little different than it is here in Canada, it is a very cost-effective reason for people to start using oils because it saves them a lot of time and a lot of trips to the doctor where normally their healthcare is not super covered. And I don't know the ins and outs of Obamacare. I don't know if that's going away. I'm not sure that everyone there totally loves it. So, you know, having access to natural tools in the US it can be an actual cost-effective thing. But what we experience more in Canada is that people start with a different brand of oils, or they wait for a couple years while the early adopters work out all the kinks of using the oils, and then they get started. And what you're seeing this week is a whole slew of people who have been waiting to get started with doTERRA, and saving little money spoke their love language, right? So anyway, welcome to those of you that are live. And if you are just hopping in, we were just talking about the buy one, get one free promo going on this week with doTERRA essential oils. If you've been looking to get started, today you can open up your wholesale customer account, which works just like Costco. Think of it like your own healthy Costco store that you have access to all year long to purchase your oils and skincare and supplements at 25% off. You can actually open that up today for $35 and you can grab today's BOGO. If you buy the tea tree oil or melaleuca, you're going to get marjoram for free. So that is super exciting. So I just wanted to welcome everyone who is live in the oils group and on Periscope. My name is Ange Peters. I'm the founder of Heyholfit. I stand for living your life in a holistic, empowered, informed way, and being part of a vibrant community where you can meet people just like you. Community is our trump card. We need each other as we are living different from the box that we're brought up, raised feeling like that's how we're supposed to live. When we want to live a more enlightened path, we need to be surrounded by people that get us and get it and are living that too. So I'm super pumped that you're all here because you're in good community with people who get you, right? Awesome. Okay, so I'm a presidential diamond with doTERRA essential oils, which means I know a thing or two about how to build a business and how to create community. So a lot of people here are essential oil users, and they are here often asking questions about usage and about how to build their own business. Most people today have realized that the security that our parents and our grandparents had doesn't exist anymore when it comes to financial wellness. So a lot of people today are becoming entrepreneurs, whether they were ready to or not. And so I can help you around that as well. I wanted to open up today with a couple of questions that came through the Heyholfit hashtag on Twitter. So if you want to send in some questions to make sure that they're answered live, feel free to hop over to Twitter after today and punch your questions in, because we get hundreds of questions live on the broadcast. And after I've gone through a couple of opening questions, I will absolutely take some questions live, but I don't always see the questions as they fly up. I love Periscope for the interaction, but sometimes I don't see all the comments that come up. So first question that came up from an oil user, she was curious on what the difference is between herbs and essential oils, because we all know that when you're using a pure brand like doTERRA, you're using the pure plant. So you're using basically what would be in the herb in a very concentrated form. So 1 drop of essential oil can typically represent a couple of cups of herb, right? So essential oil is up to 70 times more concentrated than if you were to use that same plant in herb form. So like marjoram, for example, the oil you get free today, 1 drop of marjoram would be the equivalent of likely a handful of the herb, using that in your cooking. So they're very potent in that sense when you're using doTERRA. When you're buying store-bought, you don't know what you're getting. And to be honest, for those of you that are brand new to my scopes, I just want to explain to you for a second, the whole reason that doTERRA exists as a company was to disrupt that whole essential oil world 8 years ago. Now, today, they're the biggest essential oil company in the world because a lot of people start by using other brands. They don't quite get the effects they're looking for, so they need to seek out purity, and that's why doTERRA exists. Really, they source in a very different way than the hundreds of other essential oil companies out there today. So look more up on that. I won't spend a ton of time on that topic today, but what I wanted to come back to was the reason that a lot of people start using essential oils is using herbs doesn't quite get the desired outcome as quick as they're looking for, because they need to use a lot more of it. And it's, let's be honest, it's just not the most user-friendly way of incorporating the plant into your body, right? So while I love herbs, what I love even more is a low drama approach to using them. So this is why I love oils. They work almost instantly. They are extremely therapeutic when you're using just pure plant and you don't have chemicals and synthetics in there. So you get that desired outcome. Now I don't know how many of you tap the screen or comment on Facebook Live, have you ever tried cooking with your herbaceous oils? So marjoram, for example. Lots of taps going out on the screen. A lot of you do this already. Some of you, maybe you haven't actually ventured into this. Maybe you didn't even know you could. So when you're using your pure doTERRA oils, that is just the plant in there in a very concentrated form. So yes, Fit Mouse Marcy, she said she uses oregano all the time in her pasta sauce. Now she's likely only using a drop or two, because in an entire crock pot, that 1 or 2 drops of oregano will actually flavor almost the entire batch, right? So you only need a little bit. Jill mentioned oregano, lemon, and cinnamon, and dill. She's used all 4 of those oils before in recipes. So I mentioned this on my Instagram post this morning when I was talking about this BOGO deal, but one of the ways I love to use marjoram is I will make an herbaceous olive oil for marinating. So let's say you're going to grill some chicken breasts or something like that. You can make a little marinade with 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and then you'll add in 1 to 2 drops of your essential oil. So I love to do marjoram with lemon. I often will use thyme oil as well. It's beautiful. So the really nice thing, guys, is like you won't have herbs going bad in your kitchen. So I used to always have like cilantro. You know, we'd grab cilantro for using in, guacamole or something, and I would use the little pinch of it, and then the rest would end up going bad in my fridge. Anyone with me? That, all the time that would happen. Or my husband would freeze them in little freezer bags, and I'd find these cilantro bags all over the freezer. So now we just use 1 drop of the cilantro oil. So it really does save you a lot of time in the kitchen. So the herb and the oil are from the mother plant. They're just a different form. Think of juicing versus blending. When you blend a smoothie, you get all of the fiber and roughage of that plant. If you use, let's say you were to blend some greens, like some kale, into your smoothie, you're getting the entire thing, but on a micro level, you would need a lot more of it if you were looking for a therapeutic outcome, right? Whereas if you were to juice that kale, you're not going to get as much, but it's going to be very concentrated, okay? So that's just a good way to understand herbs versus oils. If you're using a straight up company, you're going to get exactly the same thing in that essential oil as you would in the herb. The second question is business related, and then we're going to go into your live questions today. So somebody emailed me with a number of questions. There's somebody growing their doTERRA business, and they have a goal one day of hitting Presidential Diamond. How many of you have a goal like that? You know you're here to do big things in our world. This is going to be the vehicle that you hop into to bring that into fruition, right? A lot of you are tapping the screen right now. Okay, so this person who emailed me asked me a couple questions. I'm going to pull out 2 other questions, and then we'll go into your live. Awesome, you guys. You are like, I can feel the vibes in this live group on Periscope. Who in our oils community? Shout it out. How many of you actually have a goal at some point in the next few years of hitting Presidential Diamond? Yeah, save your questions for just a few minutes from now. I'm going to take them live. Okay, so this person asked, what was your mental focus and mindset that brought you from diamond or blue diamond to Presidential Diamond? So this is an important question because many of you recognize, if you are in business for yourself, you know that your mindset is the actual leader of your business, not this physical shell. It's that soul, the mindset that actually propels you and grows your business, and it allows you to not ever see things as problems, but to always be coming from a perspective of seeing opportunity and being a creative problem solver and leading with your heart. That's what really grows your business to the next level, is staying committed to that. And I think for me, the mindset that most served me in this business, and it wasn't something truthfully that I had to learn in doTERRA because I've operated this way for most of my life, and that is taking complete ownership. I've talked about this many times in the past. I take complete ownership and responsibility for my health, for my body, for my results. I never expect anybody to do anything for me. I go into any goal that I have assuming that it's up to me to accomplish what my heart is seeing as the next goal for me. So with that comes 2 things. First of all, because I don't expect anything from anybody, my entire goal as a leader is to live an inspired life. I don't try to inspire people because I know that the right people on this journey with me are going to be inspired by my example. So I don't come at the work that I do and the way that I serve from a place of trying. I actually approach it from live it fully, authentically first, and then teach it, and through that be inspiring, and the right people come along. And that has really served me my whole life, you guys. I think about things very critically. I break them apart, and I try them in my own life. I will never talk about something that I have not lived through before. And I am really only interested in working with leaders that adopt that same philosophy, which is why I was not meant to ever be in a corporate management role. I was in that for a long time, and it was one of the lowest vibration times of my life. I was surrounded by people who weren't walking the talk. And I care more about that almost than anything in life. That somebody, if they're going to speak about something, that they live it. Absolutely. So that mindset, with really committing to that and committing to myself and my business and doing what I know my business needs from me, with that comes necessary applications, learning to manage my time in an effective way as the scale happened. This is a huge hurdle for people. As their business grows, they're not ready for it to grow. And you have to be prepared to evolve as your time becomes more in demand. If you do not evolve, you stagger. So you have to be ready for that growth to happen. And to be honest, I'm going to speak directly to those of you that have felt stuck in a rank or in your business or whatever it is that you're trying to make a shift in. The truth is, it's not happening because you're actually not ready for it to happen. Trust the process. Know that when you go to the next level, however you're measuring that, in doTERRA, you know by ranks, they often represent that you are somebody ready for that growth. Marcy asked, how do you get ready for that growth? You take your current daily life and you look at it and you ask yourself, could you handle the next level with how you're operating today? So let me break this down in a health perspective. So when I work with a client and I see, hundreds of different things that might be going on in their life, and to be honest, this was a couple years ago. I don't work with clients one-on-one anymore. That's an example of my evolution. I don't have the time, right? So when I was working, and I worked with thousands of women over about a 6-year period. And when I was working with clients, hey Kath, when I was working with clients, I, as the coach, I saw all the things, right? I saw all the things I knew they could do to move the needle forward. However, my job as their coach was not to dump all that on them at once, because I knew that they were not at the readiness level to take all that on. So we would start with the micros, like taking daily supplements just for a week or two until they have that habit nailed down. Then you layer on the water intake, or then you layer on, introducing greens to their day, a couple cups a day. You take it very micro until you have reached your edge. So you have to know your edge. And in your business, the way that you know your edge is like, what's the anatomy of your emotions on a typical day? Do you find you go through most of your day stressed, not able to deal with little things or changes that happen when, let's say you're building doTERRA and all of a sudden the BOGO is sold out for the day? Do you freak out? Do you complain? Do you go to your Facebook groups and complain and super low vibe? That is an example, a teaching opportunity to yourself that you're not ready for the next level. So I know when someone's ready for the next level, when they're operating out of a space of love and service and gratitude, all those high vibe characteristics of somebody who's ready for the next level. That's how you know. So when it comes to like that next rank goal, if your goal is being presidential, diamond, let's say, you have to know that you have to ask yourself today, could you operate from that space consistently? I mean, we all have our moments during the day where we freak out and yell at our kids, or, we make poorer food choices than we'd like to, or, these things that don't quite align with our goals. We all have those moments through the day. But as you're a person committed to growth and development, you should see those things happen less and less, because the more you're operating from a place of growth and development, you will find yourself dealing with people very differently. You will hold space for people because you're an anchor in who you are. So, cool conversation to be having, because I know a lot of you might be looking at all the reasons why that next rank isn't coming, or you're not attracting a business builder to your team. And it starts with us, guys. It 100% always does. It's no one else's problem. It's no other reason. It's not doTERRA's fault because they didn't have X, Y, and Z in the warehouse, or whatever the current thing is that's keeping you in a low vibe state. It's no one else's fault, because the reality is, if you're somebody who's going to do well in your business and kill it in life, you have to operate like the top 1% of the world do. And they operate from a mindset of, okay, now what? What else is possible, right? What else could I do here? That's the more you start to come from that place. Yes, Ashley, I want to repeat that. Ashley said your rank will grow in direct correlation in your ability to love and support your team and users. Absolutely. And something that some of us are working through as we do that is, how do we do that without taking it all on, without feeling that? Like, to be honest with you, this is going to be something that's going to keep hitting you over the head unless you deal with it and become somebody committed to taking a step back and operating from a space of, where can I serve the greatest? How can I take good care of myself so that I do that? And evolve. You have to keep evolving. Last week I did a podcast on mentoring and how to know when to stop mentoring somebody. You have to know what the purpose of mentorship is in this business model. It is to guide those that are in growth. And when somebody's not in growth, they don't deserve your time one-on-one. That's up to them. They have to choose to be in growth and be bringing action into their business and into their life. So that has to be in place before you give your time one-on-one. But there does come a point where the mentorship seems to turn into a little bit more of just bouncing ideas off each other and friendship, and that's cool and everything. But the thing is, depending on what your goal is in life and in your rank, that will also be something that you won't always have time for down the road. You have to model for your team a leader who's in growth and who is evolving and who's innovating and who is expressing their creativity. And what I would love like most in the world is for that to duplicate. That's duplication. That's what makes doTERRA beautiful. Duplication in a lot of other network marketing companies is having the perfect system and plugging somebody into their corporate website and watching a video. But if what you can duplicate here is your heart, your passion, your creativity with your team, you will have the most joy-filled business ever. Promise. Okay, so the last question is going to take, which might help some of you, and then we'll go to live. Hey, beautiful, I love your website and the information you share with us. I really want to start making my own videos, posters, etc. Would you be open to doing an instructional webinar, or do you have advice for newbies? Okay, so I don't need to do a webinar because I can tell you really quick. I am completely self-taught. I've gone through a huge scale up in my business in the last couple of years, so I'm now at a point where, as much as I love creating, it is one of my core passions, creating and creating community. I just don't have the time to do a lot of the stuff I used to, like manage my own website and blogging and all of that. So I focus on a couple of things, and I do those consistently, like Periscopes, Instagram, because I like to let people into my life in that way and build that trust with them. My website, you know, I just met with a developer this morning who I'm working with, and to be honest, it's a tough thing for me to give over because it's something that at one point in my life I just loved, and if I had more time, I would do a lot more with it. Yes, that's right, Ash. She said I'm a perfect example of things not being crazy fancy, but it's done and filled with inspiration. So here's what I wanted to say about that. Thank you, Ash. Here's what I wanted to say about that. Sometimes people will have like the perfect marketing and the perfect website, and you crack it open and you're like, I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I like this person's heart. I don't know if they're the real deal. They drew me in because they're fancy marketing, but I'm not too sure. So this is like people too, right? Sometimes people can be like really beautiful on the outside, and then you get talking to them and you're like, So here's the thing. I want to give you my favorite tools that allow you to basically build your brand almost free, okay? Because again, it's your heart that's going to come through in your marketing. People today, yes, Kirby said you don't need to waste your time in marketing when you should focus on the content inside of the marketing, right? So when you can find a way to just create in a way that expresses who you are in a real way, and then let people feel your heart through your message, whatever that is. If you like live video or writing or just taking beautiful pictures because that's your gift, then people are going to feel that from you. People can sniff out the opposite. So number one, leverage our incredible platform today of free things. So we have Periscope, which we're using right now. We have Facebook Live, which we're using right now. In my honest opinion, why in the world do you need a webinar platform that costs you $800 a year? Because, and actually Facebook Live is evolving. You're soon going to be able to share your screen. You're soon going to be able to co-host with a friend of yours. So let's say you are somebody teaching essential oil classes. You could actually co-host a Facebook Live with your friend in California. So this is all coming. Now, what do you think is the issue now for the person who's looking to build their business through all these free platforms? I want to see if you guys are feeling me here. How many of you are doing this and have realized something? What becomes the issue now that all of these platforms are free? Yes, the Essential Wave said, everybody does it. Harmony Essential says doesn't know where to start. Well, you can just start. You don't have to like be perfect, right? Just start. But yeah, everybody can do it. This is the challenge. So my question to you, what is going to set you apart? This is Branding 101. This is your heart. You've got to be real. The number one thing we try to instill in people in our doTERRA business, on our team, when they're first getting started, is do not look at what everyone else is doing. What are you here to bring? What's your message? What's your truth? infuse that into your classes, the way that you talk about the oils, because you're not here to help every single person. You're here to help the person who wants to know that you know what you're talking about because you've lived it. Okay? Fit Mouse Marcy said, for me, it's being transparent and a little kooky. Love it. When I was meeting with the web developer this morning, I said, I'm a truth teller, but I'm playful. So that's what my website needs to feel like. I want people to know that when they come, I'm holding space for them wherever they are, but I'm playful. I'm not this like bland, boring health coach, marketer, but no, I'm real, I'm playful. That needs to come through in the branding. So you have to know what you're really wanting your audience to feel when they come across your content. Sylvia asked a great question on Facebook. How do you figure out your truth? So I want to hear from you guys, because I have a feeling on that. How do you figure out your truth? So when I say you want to be able to market yourself in such a way that people find you that are needing that truth. Ashley said you get quiet and you wait to see what comes. You look at what you love to do. These are good. My healthy root says it comes naturally, but I don't know if it does to some people. It perhaps has for you because you got quiet, right? Natalie on Facebook said get quiet. Ashley said stop doing what you don't want to do. Yeah. Kirby said personal development, working on the things that you love. Susan on Facebook said you listen more closely to the things you feel nervous to share. Oh, I love that. My Walking Heart said what would others say about you? So that's a good way to know your branding. How would someone describe you when you're not in the room? Annalie, hi girl. She says, I agree with that question. I'm going through a weird thing where I feel like I don't know who I am or what I want and what my message is. So, oh man, it's such a good topic, you guys. This could actually take up its own scope. I really feel you here because it's an evolution. Danette said, what do you want to be remembered for? Kirby said, ask the people you trust what they love about you. So what you see here is that there needs to be a period of time where you get quiet. I'm going to suggest that you stop looking at what anyone else is doing around you. That's noise, right? When you look at people who are successful in your industry, it's tempting to think, I have to do it like they did. I need to do what they did because success leaves clues, and there's my clue. So I need to do it how they did it. But the reality is, being an entrepreneur outside of this network marketing industry is quite challenging because there's a lot of different variables that could actually take you down. In this business, in my business within doTERRA, for many of you building this, it's quite a simple business model, and it asks us pretty quickly what our truth is, because that's going to be what takes us down. If we're not being honest about that, if we're not being vulnerable and stop caring about what others are thinking and doing, it is such a personal growth opportunity, and it's incredible because of that. Because what you'll notice, and here's something I shared a while ago, which a lot of people resonated with, and I said, here's how you know what you're meant to do. Write down on a piece of paper, what are 3 to 5 things that you could teach somebody in 5 seconds because you've lived it. Little or big, like just write them down, right? Write down what are some things that you have experienced in your life that put you in a position to teach, and within that is going to be your core message. Like many of you know this with my story, years ago when I was a little girl, my dad and my little sister both died of cancer. Now for me, the story could have stopped there. I could have experienced that and gone into a life of, pity and thinking like, it's never going to work out. We're all going to get cancer, without hope, right? That could have been the way it went for me. But what happened was it actually planted a seed in my heart to learn first, to live it, and then to teach it. And what I started to do, it became like breathing to me to seek information and to try it in my own life. And then when I became a mother, especially, to decide to do things a different way with them, to come from a place of holistic health and questioning a lot of things. Because I chose to react in that way to my experience, I have been constantly been put in situations where doors were open for me to reach more people. And doTERRA is an example of that for me. Personally, for me, with doTERRA, I'm just getting started. This for me is not about doTERRA. Becoming a presidential diamond was never about becoming a presidential diamond. But what happened through the process is because I'm committed to being somebody who holds a space for people who are not ready for change, but know they can come when they're ready. That's what I know I'm here walking out for people. That's what my journey created in me, was a fire and a passion and a critical mind. When I look at things, I break it open, I pick it apart, I use it, I try it, and then I teach it, right? So that's everything I'm about. And I share that because I want you to think about, Stephanie said, where did you first learn about personal development? It seems like you started years ago. I freaking love it. I never want to stop growing. Never. When we stop growing mentally, spiritually, financially, everything, we've lost. And it's not about life being hard and you never being enough. Don't confuse this. This is about being somebody committed to being your best every day, and ideally being a little bit better today than we were yesterday. I am obsessed with this, and I will always live my life this way. I never want to stop growing. I've always been a student my whole life, whether, the way I was raised, asking questions of the spiritual lens that I was brought up through. I always picked things apart to seek to understand so that I really got it, so I could really live it, right? Like, that's just who I am. That might not be something that resonates with all of you, but I never want to stop growing. I'm obsessed with it. Oh my gosh. Like, every day, I remember my grandfather, he was a pretty well-known preacher. And he used to tell me when I was a little girl that he actually, before he died, he read the Bible, front to back about 77 times. And he told me when I was a little girl, I was like, well, why would you read the same book over and over and over again? I get it. It's the Bible, but come on. And he said something I'll never forget. He said, every time I read it, I'm a new person. I'm like, oh, love it. Love it. Every time, like, you could pick the same personal development book if you wanted to, and you could just read it over and over and over, and I guarantee you'd get a different answer from it. You'd get a different piece of guidance. So I love that application in our life. It doesn't matter really what it is. It's really about you being committed to staying in growth. And that could be 10 minutes a day, right? It could be whatever it is, but it's an intention to keep growing. So, oh, you know what? I didn't fully answer the question about platforms. Let me come back to that really quick, and then let's go live. So Facebook Live and Periscope and Instagram, all free, all great ways to connect through a platform you don't have to pay for. PicMonkey and WordSwag are my favorite tools for marketing, using new fonts, making pretty images. If you need images, I love a website called Stocksy. And for purchasing fonts that are really pretty, I like Creative Market. With those, and with a platform like Blogger or something like that, you can build your entire brand pretty much for free. So if you're not doing it and utilizing it, check those out because they're super easy to use. And in the beginning, you do not need a fancy website. I still have like the poor man's website, but I don't care. And to be honest, I have a lot of content out there. I've been doing videos and stuff like this for years. And a lot of it's like amateurville, but I like what it teaches people. I like people to see that we all start somewhere, and I don't care that it's not perfect. No, perfect is boring. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yes, Annalie, Creative Market and Stocksy, Stocksy. Okay, so let's do some questions, live Q&A. We'll just do a quick, roundhouse. I'm just going to answer questions as they come in, so just copy and paste if I don't see it. Okay, the wholesale customer option seems to be killing my ability to build. I try to suggest the WA route. I would like you to think about this differently. So almost 90% of the people that enroll in doTERRA just want to be a customer. They have never and will never enroll a single person. doTERRA is heavily made up of essential oil users. Personally, I don't even want people enrolling as wellness advocates. I want them all enrolling as wholesale customers so that they can have a good 3-month experience with the oils before they upgrade to wellness advocate and build their business. So why don't you try applying a different approach? Advocate for education and usage in their first 3 months so that when they decide they want to start doing the business, they are ready, okay? Because a lot of people in the past, it was like this weird thing. They're enrolling, but we don't know if they want to actually do the business or they just want to use the oils. I assume almost every single person I enroll, they just want to use the oils and change their life. They're not looking for a business opportunity, but if their heart leads them that way, we have that path for them. Super cool. Nat asked, what do you do when you feel stuck and in overwhelm? What is the first action? Okay, so what I do when I'm in that situation, at the end of a day like that, when I feel like I'm operating from a very reactive place, is I get everything on my head onto, can you guys see my bathrobe on the chair? Sexy time. I get everything that's in my head onto this lovely yellow legal pad that my kids have drawn on. Okay, so actually I have quite a few of these. I'm gonna recycle that. I have quite a few of these around the house, but I always start a fresh yellow legal pad sheet of paper. I get everything out of my brain. Yes, I call it brain dumping. I get everything onto this sheet of paper. Everything that's up here stressing me out. And I look at it and I get quiet. I look at it and I ask myself, what is my life telling me right now? Where do I need to ask for help? Where do I need to pay for help? And what do I need to stop doing? So I basically go through this whole list and I look at it, I see if there's a common theme. And then of the things I know that I need to do and I can only do, I take each one of those and I plug them either as an individual or a reoccurring appointment in my Google Calendar, because what you schedule, you will do. So I take that list and I do it. And if I go to my calendar and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got this whole list of things and my calendar is completely full through my working hours this week, then I look at my Google Calendar and I'm like, okay, what on here needs to go? What is taking time from my priority list and from those I love? Because the reality is, when you say yes to something or someone, it is taking away from the people you love or the business you love, usually, okay? So you need to be clear and honest with yourself about what you're taking on, and you need to be okay with letting go of things that aren't working anymore, right? Like, I reached a point a couple months ago where I looked at my schedule and I realized every single day I was having calls with 5 to 6 people in my business who are either like my frontline girls or people I've enrolled who are doing the business. And guess what I realized was going on? I was not the leader at the front. I was basically working at a call center because I wasn't able to creatively keep my vision right here and be growing my team in the way that I wanted to and be leading as a leader lit up, because I'm like on the phone all day. So what I had to decide to do was apply a different approach. I had to take some calls off the calendar that were happening on a regular basis. What I need to be involved in is a situation where I actually don't have scheduled calls. We're talking about doTERRA in this business, not Rodan and Fields. So I had to, in order to evolve and in order to continue to be a leader who is inspiring to my team because of how I feel in my life and how I show up, the scheduled calls had to come off. So instead what I did was I created a new form that people use to check in. And based on what is happening in that form, they know whether or not they need a call. Mentor calls, Carrie asked, do you think mentor calls are more important earlier in your business? Absolutely, because you're still trying to figure out who your people are. So that for the whole first year in my business, I was doing weekly calls with my front line. Then we moved them to monthly after about 1.5 years. I think at the beginning until, hey Bags, I think in the beginning until we're clear on that and what our growth trajectory is going to be, We're having calls with people. We're trying to understand who our people are. But to be honest with you, what I want people to know who are building doTERRA is that you have everything you need to build an incredible business. You don't need an upline having calls with you all the time. In the beginning, it's an incredible blessing to be able to hop on the phone for a couple of months, either weekly or bi-weekly, with somebody in your upline, usually the person who enrolled you, to help just guide you through the first few months. But honestly, from that point on, and typically this is when a leader gets to Premier or Silver, it's you. It's your development. It's you committing to growth and continuing to grow your mindset while you are growing your business through the basic things. The basic things that build our business are enrolling people and taking great, loving care of them. So if you're on the phone all day, I'll tell you what's not happening. You're not doing the income producing things for your business, and you're resenting your life because you're just pouring. It's like what every mom goes through at some point in her life. She's giving everything to her kids, to her family, to her job, and she's checked out. She's totally checked out. And when mom starts to take time to have a tea date with an inspiring friend and have a bath a couple nights a week and go for a daily workout, what do we see happen for that mom? People around her, they might give her a bit of a hard time in the beginning because guess what? She's disrupting the system. She's chosen to take good care of herself. But what happens when mom is lit up? So I want you guys just to imagine, just this person's not a business owner. Some people are saying her business grows. The oil corner says everyone lights up. You elevate the people around you. And so maybe that's what you need to do is look at your time. We talked about this last week quite a bit, so go back and watch that scope. But if it's not working for you, it's actually not working for anybody. Bottom line. Okay, so how do you get people out to your classes during the holidays? They say they are busy. They're busy. You're right. So get creative. Might be time for you to dip into your current team who's already enrolled, offer welcome calls to people. Maybe you are helping your current team who's not on LRP, the monthly orders. Maybe you're helping them establish a 3-month plan in the new year. What will their 3-month order look like? Maybe they start that this month and they order some other products in December so that they can really rock out a healthy lifestyle in January. So get creative. You're right. People don't want to come out to classes in December because life's busy. We all feel that, right? So either maybe you're doing Facebook Lives where people can just jump in, right? You just got to get creative, and I would be thinking about what other people are thinking. I would be doing an open house perhaps where people can just come by and purchase little gifts under $50, teachers gifts, things like that. Maybe you have a little bit of an incentive for people to enroll at an open house. There's lots of ways around this, but you're right. Just saying that you're going to be teaching an essential oil class is probably not going to get people to come out. If you make it specific and let them know that you'll have teachers gifts available, or you're going to teach them how to keep their immune system thriving through the holidays, that might get them out. That would get me out. Somebody had a question about retail. Yes, go ahead, ask your question. Is there anyone on here who can advise on retail presence? Yeah. I only have a personal Facebook page. Would you start a business one to do live sessions? I would do a group, not a page. Groups have more visibility. And yes, you could do one just for Facebook Lives that you do. I think that's a great idea. You could do both. You could have an oil group, and then you could have one just for Facebook Lives. Hey Megs, you said take advantage of holiday get-togethers. Specifically, what does that mean to you? What are you and your team doing around that? You guys all asked a question at the same time, and now I can't see any of them. What is your elevator speech when making small talk about what you do for a living? Okay, so number one, I always consider who I'm talking to. Okay, 1 second here, let me write down this one. Juice Bar here in the US uses doTERRA in their products. Cool. Is this the retail question? Okay, what's the specific question though? And just while I'm waiting on that, goodbye. So what is an elevator speech, you guys? What is it? Why do we talk about it? I'm taking Vintage Remedies aromatherapy course, specifically for their insight on internal use of oils. But to be honest, doTERRA is such an education-based essential oil company. So much of the actual education with essential oils is not based off of using pure plant. And it's also off of old information. So a lot of it comes with understanding your own body, because a book, it's tough because essential oils are very different than medications. They have hundreds of different constituents, so every body responds a little bit differently. Okay, yes, my Healthy Root said, your elevator speech is 30 seconds to tell someone about your business. So usually this happens, you're in Lululemon shopping or Whole Foods, or why am I saying these stores that cost a lot of money? It's not like I live in these stores, but let's say you're just at the grocery store, you run into an old friend from high school, haven't seen them in a while, and you're just like, hey, how's it going? I haven't talked to you in so long. At some point, they're going to come back and say, like, what's new with you? And if this friend of yours is a health coach, let's say, or a mom, like how you answer them might be a little bit different, because you have something to offer anybody, really. There's not a single person that essential oils would not benefit. And there are quite a few people out there today who are really seeking an opportunity in the financial wellness space. So you don't want to be closed off to that. You never know who you're talking to. So it kind of, you want to think about the person you're talking to. If I'm talking to a mom that I went to high school with, I know what she's going through because I am a mom, and I know some of those things as, you know, somebody who's proactively trying to live a healthy life goes through as a mom, right? So I might say to her, well, in the last few years, I've been educating women, specifically mothers, on how to take the health of their family and put it back in their hands. Because I know that a lot of people today feel like they've lost hope in how to live a healthy life. My main tool is essential oils. Have you heard of them? So what you'll notice there is that I made a statement about what I do and why. So I'm finding that common ground with them, right? I would say, this is what I do. I teach people about how to live a more natural life. And when I say, because a lot of people today have lost hope in the realm of how to take care of themselves and their family, especially their kids, I'm stating the why, and then I'm ending in a question. My key tool I teach on is using pure essential oils. Have you heard of them? Then, because I've ended in a question, I'm inviting them back into the conversation. Now they're going to basically say, yeah, I have heard of them. Do you cook with them? No, actually, they are, when you're using a pure plant oil like doTERRA, that's the brand I decided to align myself with. When you're using a brand like doTERRA, you're using the pure plant, and it's very medicinal, because I believe that nature knows a little more than we do. It knows how to keep growing and be healthy, and it doesn't get it in its own way. And so we can learn a lot from nature, and I love utilizing what nature gives us in the health of my body. So I teach people which specific plant oils help them with the hundreds of things that come up on a daily basis. So, again, you want to practice a couple of different ways of saying what you do and match it to the 2 or 3 types of people that you often talk to. If you're talking to a career woman who is pretty miserable in her job, maybe she's somebody who would be incredible at this business because she's very heart-led, maybe she's in the service industry, you're going to probably work in the business opportunity with that person. You're going to say, you know, I teach women how to set up themselves and their family for financial wellness within a 2-year period through helping others with their health. And that's what we do, right? Like, that's all we really do. We connect people to their power, their own healthy journey, so that they can then bless other people. A sick person, a poor person, cannot help another person. So what we actually do in this business is we heal ourselves so that we can extend that to other people. It's the whole oxygen mask on a plane thing going on a much larger scale here in doTERRA. I know that my capacity to help others is directly linked to my capacity to be able to help myself. Let me just check this question about the retail, and then we'll probably wrap up for today. We're coming up on an hour already. Hey Meg, when I was nursing, I took probiotics, and then as soon as it was around 6 months old that I started introducing a powdered probiotic. Okay, the retail question. They use doTERRA oils in the juice bar, but would like her to teach classes. She would like to know how to structure this. So, juice bar question, I assume that they're enrolled with you already. You just want to have, with any retail opportunity, anybody who wants to start, okay, if they're not enrolled, I would enroll them, and I would put them on your front line or as a backup builder in your weakest leg. And everybody who enrolls through that juice bar, if people come out to the classes you're teaching there, the ideal situation is that the juice bar owner is interested in residual income and wants to work with you to understand how to support people as they enroll. But to be honest, that's probably something you're going to have to personally take on for a while. For like 6 months, you'll probably be the one enrolling those people under the juice bar's number, and you'll be the one likely taking care of all those people through welcome calls and answering questions as they have them, just until the juice bar owner gets a good grip on what that looks like, at which point you could, and that could be your commitment to them. If that's what they're interested in, you could say, I will, for 6 months, I will be the one, I'll handle all the admin. I'll take that on and I'll teach you. If they're not interested in that, then of course you guys might work out some kind of an agreement where maybe you commission share with them. Maybe you give them 10% of the commission for every time somebody enrolls or something like that. But usually somebody with that opportunity in their space will be interested in earning residual income. So either they or somebody that you put under them ideally would be the person to be doing the admin and supporting at some point down the road. Okay, any questions from Facebook Live? You're welcome. Yeah, that's a great opportunity. I love that the juice bar is using oils. All right, any last questions before we hop off? Everyone getting ready for the holidays? Thank you. I just bought this mug. It's Kate Spade. Got it at the Bay. PB Junior, is it okay for a 20-month-old? Yeah, although it's pretty, the thing with doTERRA's probiotics for kids, they adapt into the system readily. A lot of probiotics actually are not absorbed super well. So what I recommend when you're starting your kids off, usually around the 2-year mark is when I would incorporate doTERRA's probiotics. A lot of parents are using them younger, but they are quite sweet through the xylitol, okay? So if you are trying to evolve your child's palate to not be exposed to things that are super salty or sweet, just from a perception, it's not sugar, right? Then you're going to want to probably wait until they're having a lot more variety of foods. And I would only do the probiotic 2 to 3 times a week until you see how their system's adapting, because sometimes kids will get diarrhea if you all of a sudden introduce a probiotic that's absorbing a lot quicker and better than another brand, right? Oh, my kids will eat it right out of the tube. You don't need to, with this one, it actually tastes really good. I would taste it first as an adult so you can see what I mean. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, HMF, Genestra, they have a powder that doesn't taste like anything. It just has a different group of bacteria in it. It's not quite as absorbed. Because the doTERRA one is micro encapsulated, so it makes it past the acidity in the stomach as well. So I love the absorption rate of doTERRA's probiotics. I love the technology behind it. But like I said, if the perception of something being sweet is something you're trying to control with your kids, then I would wait. My kids, they think it's like dessert. They look forward to it. It's cool because now they're not asking for like other things, right? They ask for their probiotics, so. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap up. I've got 2 more calls today, and then we are decorating our house for Christmas tonight. Oh, yay. Oh, yes. Ashley, thank you for reminding me. Thank you, guys. Awesome. So glad you could join live. I will not be on next week. I'm headed to Las Vegas there's about 20,000 people going, actually. It's a network marketing GoPro event with Tony Robbins and Richard Branson. It's going to be awesome. I have about 40 on my team who are going. Jackie, yay. Yeah, awesome. I hope I see you there, Ash. So I won't be on next week for this broadcast, but we'll pick this up the week after. Maybe we'll do a holiday themed one. I'm working on some content with my team right now. We're going to be doing daily Facebook Lives for 12 days in December, sharing a lot of our favorite ways to use the oils around the holidays. So I'm excited about that. Okay. Yeah, Kirby, you can live stream it. I'm actually going to post the link on Monday for live streaming GoPro. It's going to be a pretty cool event because the most successful people in the network marketing industry are all going to be in the same room. So it's for those of you that are attending live, and I'm sure a lot of this will come through the live stream too, but you're just going to feel this like unlimited feeling of what's possible, because you'll see people from all walks of life who really created something amazing, and through that they're changing our world. A thought I want to leave you with after the political scene now has come and gone, I guess, a little bit, is the power of good people with a lot of money can do incredible things in this life. In our world, can change things in a real way. Change starts with people. I think for a long time, we have put too much of our faith in a single person or a system, right? And now we're seeing this shift happen. So even I know we all have our thoughts on that election and what happened, and it was interesting to watch. But even with all that's been going on, there are a lot of people who, you know what? Because we've actually never believed that it was a single person that was going to really create the change we need in this world. It starts with us, right? And when you are in a room with 20,000 other people who are living very abundant lives, giving in many incredible ways, not just financially, but in the way that they serve, this is where we're seeing the real shift. So I'm excited for a lot of you to be there, and I'll catch you guys back the week after, okay? Mwah.